Hey guys, what's going on? The Lucky Cards here. Today we're gonna be doing something on my channel that we haven't done before, and what we're gonna be doing is I don't know if it's gonna work very well, but I guess we'll see. So today we'll be talking about the ban list or the limited list, whatever you want to call it. So let's get straight into it. First it's gonna be monsters, then spells, then traps, and more monsters, I guess. Looks like it's random. Just get straight into it. Okay, so the first card is Alpeclip Port Towers. Dot 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 dot. I don't know how to say that. So yeah, we probably have to Apocalypse Towers. I'm guessing this is it. Can't be special summoned. Requires 3 QLI tributes to normal slash set. If this card is unaffected by spell cards, in effects, it is unaffected by spells and slash trap cards and by activated effects from any monsters whose original level is lower than the card than and by activated all special summon monsters lose 500 attack. Once per turn you can make your opponent send one monster from their hand or their side of the field. That is very stupid. This card was a really big ban because this right here, you can make your opponent send one monster from their hand or their side of the field to the graveyard. That is pretty stupid right there. So I'm glad they made that forbidden in the advanced. But I never play in the traditional, so I guess it's fair there because that's usually where the unfair cards are. So that's that. So that's that card. But also it's stupid that it can't be affected by effects by any monsters whose level is or rank is lower than the card's current level. So it has to be more than that for its effect to activate it. So that's pretty stupid. I do not like that card. I think that was a good ban. So yeah, let's go to the next card. Blaster. I think that's it. Yeah, this guy was already banned before. Luckily he's staying banned. It's if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon type monsters. Except this card. Special summon this card during your opponent's end phase. If this, you can discard one card. You can discard this card and one fire monster to the graveyard. Then target one card on the field. Destroy that target. If this card is banished, you can add one fire dragon type monster from your deck. You can only use. That one's not that bad, so I really don't think that one deserved a ban. So I don't really think that one deserves a ban. Chaos Emperor Dragon. Chaos Emperor. Here he is. This one I think must be special summoned by banishing one light. In your graveyard, you can pay 1,000, send all cards in both players' hand on the field. That part really is stupid, especially then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card. That's pretty stupid, because if you have, summon this and then have, a Zodia on the field and, have 20 cards in your hand and then you discard all of them, you just, wreck your opponent. So that's pretty stupid. I agree with that one, too. So, we gotta move fast. Cyberjar, that's been banned for a while. because it flips and destroys all monsters on the field. Then both player reveals the top 5 cards of the deck. Then special summon all revealed level 4. And also add any remaining cards to their hand. Yeah, so that's pretty stupid because you can make your opponent lose a lot of monsters real fast and see his deck. So that one I really don't agree with because that one isn't bad as the other one. The next one is Cyber Steam. Let's pay 5,000 life points, special summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck to the field in attack position. That one's not really bad, but if you paid 5,000 life points, you could summon this. You could summon this right here and then like wreck your opponent. So that one I definitely agree with. Dark Magician of Chaos. When this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target 1 spell and add that target to banish any monsters destroyed by battle with this card. If this card is face up, would leave banish it instead. That one's not really that bad. Just if they didn't have this banish, I'd agree with it, but that ain't that bad. I kinda agree with them, but if they took out that one effect, I'd say it'd be fair. So I think they should have just taken that effect out. Destiny Hero. This is it right here. When this is... That one's not very bad because it says when it's special summoned from the graveyard, draw 2 cards. But you're like not doing... You'd have to activate something else to special summon it. So I don't agree with that one at all. That one should not be banned. It should just be limited to 3. Yeah, all the cards that are banned, they're pretty much limited in the traditional, so let's go to the next card. Dijin. Oh yeah, if you guys are wondering why I don't do very many deck videos anymore, I'm planning on doing like 5 today because I have like no homework. That's the only reason I haven't been doing it. So, Dinge, releaser of rituals. Let's read its effect. Whenever you ritual summon a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. It's one of the monsters required. If a player ritual summons using this card, the other player cannot special summon while that... If they didn't have this effect right here, I'd say it's fair. But if you ritual summon a monster that has like 3,000 attack and they can't special summon it, and they don't have anything to kill it, then they're pretty much screwed. So I agree with that one right there. So I'll agree with that one right there. Let's move on to the next. Fudge. Elemental Hero. Okay, let's find it. Yeah, there's a lot of... Okay, here he is. When this card is normal or special summon, you can activate one of these effects. You can destroy all spells / trap cards on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control. That one isn't really that bad, because it's not really that bad. Because you can only have 3 in your deck, and it destroys your spell and trap cards too. So I don't say that. I don't agree with that one right there. Fiber jar. We're going back to the jars. Fiber. Okay. Flip. Each player shuffles all cards from their hand, field, and graveyard into the deck, then draw 5 cards. That's pretty much just like a restart for the duel. I don't. It really doesn't really do anything because your life points are still down, and there's another card that puts all your cards into the graveyard, but each player does it, so it isn't really that bad. So I kind of don't agree with that one. And we got a lot of cards to go. This video is going to be long. The longest one I've done. So next up is Fishborg. I think that's how you spell it. If you control a face-up level 3 or lower water monster, you can discard one card, special summon this from your graveyard. If this card is used, all other synchro. That isn't very bad. I don't agree with that one because it's just if 3 or lower, you can discard one card. It's not that bad because you have to discard a card. And yeah, I don't agree with that one, so magical scientist. Magical science. Right here. Pay 1,000 life points special. Yeah, no, that I do not agree with. I read the first sentence and I just don't agree with that one. Makey, during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can activate trap cards. That I don't agree with. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty stupid because you could activate something really bad. Mind Master. You pay 800 life points and tribute one psychic monster. Set my masters to summon one level 4. That I don't agree with because you have to pay life points, then tribute a other psychic monster. And it can be. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Because that one isn't very bad. Now, Morphine Jar 1 and Morphine Jar 2 pretty much do the same thing. When they're flipped, they send each player's hand to the graveyard. I completely agree with that one. Because I know the feeling of just losing all your cards in your hand. So I don't agree with that one. Red Docks, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 Earth and or Dragon-type monsters from your hand and or graveyard, except this card. Special summon this card during your opponent's end phase. If this card is special summon, return it to the hand. You can discard this card and one Earth monster, Earth Dragon-type monster from your deck to your hand. That one ain't that bad, just the special summon it from your hand. It's pretty bad because look at its defense. You can summon it in defense and just be like it'd be pretty hard to kill. So next is a Rescue Hot. You can send this face-up card to the graveyard and to special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast-type monsters from your deck. Those monsters are destroyed during your end phase. That's stupid because you could just, sorry about saying, too much. Yeah, I can't stop doing it. Sorry. You can summon them from your extra deck. You can, like, tribute them and summon them from your extra deck. Yeah, so I keep on saying, I can't stop it. Jesus. But you can literally tribute them to summon a stronger monster. So, yeah, I'm going to try to work... Okay, Sagan. I'm going to try to work on not saying anymore. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you add one monster with 1,500 less attack from your deck to your hand. That one I agree with. Not agree with. Because some cards, like Giant Rat, when they're destroyed, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna, like, stop talking. When they're destroyed, you summon one monster with 1,500 or less attack. Not set. So I kind of don't believe in that one. Shirt. Nope, that's not how you spell it, is it? Nope. No, it is not. Shirt. Yes. If you ritual exactly one necro. Oh, this is. It says it's forbidden now in traditional, but it it was limited before. Well, limited, but now it is banned, and I completely agree with it because I hate Necros. Even though I'm going to show you guys a Necros deck sooner or later. So, yeah, I don't like Necros. Substatoad. You contribute one monster to special summon one frog monster from your deck except Frog the Jam. Frog monsters except Frog the Jam cannot be destroyed. That is stupid. It says cannot be destroyed by battle because most people use frogs to get the gods, and then you're pretty much screwed. So next up is Tempest. I don't know how to spell it. I'm guessing this is it. Yeah. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 wind and or dragon type monsters from your hand and or graveyard. Except this card, special summon this card during your... Yeah, it says that again. I don't agree with it then. Automatically do not agree with it. So I'm just gonna skip it. Because of that one effect. Title. This says the same thing, so yeah, I don't like those types of cards. Tribe, infecting virus. Discard one card from your hand and declare one type of monster. Destroy all face-up monsters. Yeah, that's kind of stupid because if your opponent's using all light type monsters, you can win in one turn. So next up is Victory Dragon. This card cannot be special summoned. To tribute this card, you must tribute 3 dragon type monsters. If this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their... You win no matter what if it attacks and your life points and reduces their life points to 0. So I don't really get why they banned that, but whatever. Because we can't stop it. Witch of the Dark Forest, I think that's what it is. It's right here. When this card is sent from... the same thing as Sagon. I don't agree with that, because, Giant Rat, it spawns stuff in when it dies. So I don't agree with that. Yata Garushka. This card cannot be special summoned. This card returns to the owner hands during the turn it normal summoned or flips. When this inflicts battle damage to your opponent, they skip their next draw phase. I don't like the skip the next draw phase, because that's kind of stupid. If you get a high level, well, if you get this... Actually, I kind of do agree with it, because its attack's 200, and its defense is 100, so I don't agree with it. Gosh, I just can't stop myself from saying, Sorry, I can't. I just can't stop myself. I just can't. Fudge. El Shad. Okay, what one is it? Construct. It is... it's this one. You send one Shade-Old card from your deck to the graveyard at the start of your damage step. If this card battles a special summoned monster, destroy that monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target, add it to your hand. I kinda don't agree with this, but you can't really do anything about it, so. Next is a card that has been banned for a long time. I don't think it'll ever become unbanished. I don't agree with it because this card takes a ton of setting up to get. You seriously, I need to stop saying but you need to set up a lot for this card to get it. But its effect's really stupid. You can literally equip it to this card, and the attack and defense of it becomes that. And if it is supposed to be destroyed, destroy the equipped monster instead. But that's really stupid because you could literally just summon it. So this video is gonna be like an hour long. Okay, Broniak. Bronic. There. Discard. You could discard any number of cards to your graveyard to target the same number of cards on the field. That I do not agree with, because you could discard, like, totally stupid cards that you can't do anything about, and then return, like, a level, like, maybe a 3,000, 4,000 attack card. So I don't agree with that. Evil Swarm. It is this guy. During your opponent's main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if this card has more total cards in their hand and their side of the field than you do, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, destroy all other cards on the field. I do not agree with that because you can destroy a ton of cards with that. Okay, next up is Brain Control. That I don't agree with because you can literally pay 1,800 life points and then immediately take over a card and pretty much attack. That's why they got rid of. That's why they got rid of Change of Heart and stuff like that. Because they're too OP. Just too OP. Equipped monster gains 300 attack when this card is destroyed. Sent to the graveyard, you can return this card. That I really don't. I kinda don't agree with them banning. Because they shouldn't. It really doesn't do anything to harm them. But what are you gonna do? Okay, card destruction sends your whole hand to the graveyard, then you draw the same amount of cards that you discarded. That I don't agree with because it's too OP and it'd be way overused. Card of safe return. That I don't agree with because monsters aren't special summon that much. Next up is Change of Heart. That's what I said earlier. Change of Heart. It's banished, but you don't have to pay anything to get the card. So it's way OP. This card can only be activated at the start of your main phase. Until your next turn, you and your opponent cannot play or set any spells or traps. That I kinda don't agree with, because if your plan relies on just activating spells and traps, then you're pretty screwed. So, pay look at your opponents. That's pretty stupid because you could take one of their, like, maybe they have Exodia in their hand and they're just about to draw a fifth piece, and you just take one. So I don't agree with that. Delinquent Duo. That's like me and my brother. We destroy things a lot and we kinda get in trouble. Pay 1,000. Your opponent randomly selects and discards one, and then selects and discards another. That's pretty much like discarding 2 cards from your hand. That's pretty stupid. Dimension. Prism. Both. That card I don't agree with. Well, I agree with because if you're playing resist on banishing like Cosmos do, you could summon like 5 cards in one turn. Future Fusion. Future Fusion. I just don't agree with that one. We'll leave it at that. Wait, no, we're not on that one. Gateway of the Six. Gateway of the Six, right? Each time a 6 samurai. Again, I don't agree with that one. Well, I agree with this one because it's way OP and it'd probably get used a lot. So, Giant Tornado. Giant Tornado. Giant Tornado. I kind of don't agree with this one because you could just set them again and you'd be fine. So I kind of don't agree with it. Graceful Charity, you discard, I think, 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. That I kind of don't agree with because you have to discard 2 cards to get it. Harpy's Feather Duster, destroy all your opponent's spells and traps. I agree with that because that's pretty stupid. Heavy Storm, and Last Will. Heavy Storm. That's the same thing as Harpy Duster. And what's the next one? Last Will. That's what I thought it was. 2 different designs. If a monster on your side of the field was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can special summon 1 monster with attack and shuffle your deck. That one I agree with. I used to use that one when it was not banned, but now I don't. Mass Driver, I don't agree with, because when you activate it, you contribute 1 monster per turn, and minus 400 life points. I don't agree with that one. Let's just search up Metamorphosis, and I think it's this one right here. Tribute 1 monster, special summon. That's pretty stupid, because you special summon a really high level, like a gimmick puppet, and use that to get a thing. Monster Reborn, that's pretty stupid. You could special summon a really strong monster that the opponent did like a huge strategy to win, to beat it. So I think that was a good choice. Oh, it's painful, not painless. Why would they name it painful? Select 5 cards of your deck, and your opponent selects one. Adds that card to your hand and discards the other cards. It's not that bad, but it could be worse. So next are the pots. Pot of Avarice. Target 5 monsters in your graveyard. Shuffle 5. That's pretty OP because you get to activate 1 card, and then you get 5 more monsters in your deck, and then you draw 2 cards. That'd be overused by Exodia users, so that was banned. Next up is Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards. That'd be way overused. Premature Burial. Activate this by then target. I disagree with that one because you have to pay to banish it. And there's a trap card that you can activate. Yes, I just don't agree with it. Next up is Snatch Steal. You steal opponent's monster. I don't agree with that. Yeah, it's just too OP. Spellbook of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment. During the end phase of this turn, this card. Yeah, that I remember it now. It's really OP, so that's a thing that I hope they don't unban. Ever. Ever. Sorry for you guys if you like it. I don't like it. Discard one card, fusion summon. That's stupid because you could literally summon a really high level just by discarding a card. Next up is Super... Oh, they're just red and blue. Blue, red, 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 blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. Look in the corner right here. There's no number for the blue one. See, there's a number for the red one, but there's no number for the blue. Dun, dun, dun. During the end phase of the turn, this card was activated, drawing a number of cards equal to the combined number of dragon-type monsters you discarded. I disagree with that one. It's not that OP, so I just disagree with it. Next up is the Forceful... something like that. The Force is real. The Force is real. Okay, that's pretty much like if he has Exodia or something, that's pretty OP, because everybody would have like one of those, so that's pretty OP. Now we're moving on to Traps. Negate all spell effects on the field during each of your standby. I disagree with that one, because you have to pay 700 each of your standby phases, so I disagree with that one, because it's not OP. Last turn. This card, when your opponent selects one monster inside, you send all other cards on the field to the graveyard. Your opponent selects and special summons. It's pretty OP. I don't want to read it. If you guys want to read it sooner or later, you can. But I'm not gonna to. It takes up too much time. Return from another. Pay half your life points, special summon. That's pretty much the same thing as the one spell card, just you pay half of your life points. Your life points could be 100, and you'd only have to pay 50. So I disagree. I agree with that choice. You could summon a ton of cards that either player can pay 800 to negate the special summon of a monster and or effect that special summons a monster and destroy those cards. I kind of don't. I kind of agree with that. So it just. Wait, no, I don't agree with it. It's not OP. But people. You can activate this card when your life points are lower than your opponent's life points, and the difference is 7,000 points or more. Both players. That's pretty much like you automatically doing a draw. You could get your opponent's life points really high, and then you'd automatically get a draw. So that's pretty stupid. Because, yeah, so next up is, that's just like an automatic, not, an automatic, draw. Would pay half your life points to negate this. That's pretty much like a worse version of this. Yeah, it's pretty much like a worse version of that. I disagree with it. Yeah, because it's not OP and stuff, so I disagree with it. Time skill. That's pretty OP, so I disagree with that. Trap. It's probably this. Actually, only when your opponent has 4 or more cards in their hand. Look at your opponent's hand, select one monster, and return that. That's pretty OP, but it's not that bad, but I agree with it. Yeah, so I agree with that one. Last banished card is Ultimate. Guessing this is it. Yeah, this is it. It looks so much different. I have this version. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you could pay 500 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Normal. Yeah, that one's pretty OP because you could summon a monster every time your opponent's about to attack you to protect you. So that's pretty OP. And that is all of the banned cards. Now we'll be moving on to the limited cards. I'll just talk about the left arm, right arm, and yeah, I'll talk about all those. Left arm, left leg, right leg, arm, right leg, and the head of it. So Exodia, the Forbidden One. When you collect all 5, you automatically win the duel. Those are limited to 1 because they're pretty hard to get, but at the same time, they're pretty OP. So if you had 3, you'd be screwed. Well, the other opponent would be screwed. You wouldn't be screwed. So I agree with that completely. So next up is Cliphort Scout. What's going on, people? I am back. I kind of took a break, so I don't want to really waste time with details. So let's get straight back into it. So it's Cliphort. Don't really know how Pendulum Monsters work yet, so I'm just gonna not worry about that one. So let's go. I say ban all Pendulum Monsters. Ban them forever, so no one can use them. I don't really like Pendulum. You set this card from your hand to your... If this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn, it's not really that bad, but its ability can be pretty stupid. So I agree with it to limit it. Now, Blackluster, if you had like 3 in your deck, they'd be like super OP, so I think they chose right with the limited. Dandelion, there's other cards that summon things, but I kind of agree with it. Dark Armor Dragon's like an opposite of Judgment Dragon, so I kind of don't think it's fair with limiting this. Debris Dragon, I agree with banishing him. Deep Sea Dive Diva, it's not that bad, but it's pretty good. So we already talked about Exodia, the Forbidden One. Genix Ali Birdman. Okay, let's search him up, because I actually don't know who that is. I'm guessing oh yeah, it's this guy. It's not that bad, because there's other cards that kind of do the same effect, but are way stronger, and this card hasn't been updated, which... We have a Burning Abyss deck, and this guy ain't that bad. This is pretty much his only special effect. Special summon 1 Burning Abyss monster from your deck. It's not that bad, because it's like, the Giant Rat. When it gets sent to the graveyard, you add it to your hand. Infernity Archfiend. I agree with him limiting him to 1. I think it's 1. Exector. I agree with these both right here. And Math Petition. I disagree with that one because he ain't that good. All you really do is if you do something, you draw 2 cards, and that isn't very bad. Neospatian. Yeah, I agree with that one. And I kind of don't agree with Night Assailant because it isn't. There's other cards out there that have close to his effect, but it's not him. And Red Eyes Darkness, that should be. That it should be not should be limited. Because he's really OP and... yeah. Rescue Rabbit. There's cards that do the same thing, but on a higher scale, so I don't think limiting it was the right choice. Thunder King, I agree and disagree with that one. There's like a couple effects that aren't good, and yeah. Two Gride from the Underworld, yes, limit that because that is really OP. If you had a ton of things. Now let's go to Wind Up Magician. If this card, if the effect of a Wind Up monster is activated, except Wind Up Magic, you can special summon in face up defense. This card can only be used once while this card is face. I disagree with that one because it's not really OP, but at the same time, it's not very bad too. Look at up to 2 random cards in your opponent's hand, then that's pretty OP, because... oh wait, it's when it's Ritual Summon, that's not really OP, but whatever. You can... this target up to 5 cards, shuffle those target. That's not really OP, so I disagree with that one. I disagree with that one. Necros of Broniak. You can ritual summon this. And cannot be special. You can discard. Discard. Add 1 Necros monster from your deck to your hand. Target up to 2 face-up monsters and feed their special summon from the extra deck. Shuffle them back into the deck. It's not really OP, but it can be if you use it in the right way, so I'm gonna say that was a good call right there. But it's not really OP. I already know this one. I think that one's pretty OP too. Ritual Beast. Ulti Kanan Ritual. Okay. We're gonna go for fusion. Ritual. It is Ritual Beast. Ulti Kanan Hawk. I don't really like this card. I've seen it in battle. It's not that OP, but I don't really like it, so... but I'm gonna agree that they shouldn't ban it, because it's not very strong. It's not very strong. So... yeah, I'm gonna say that wasn't a very good call, and I think these are the only... okay, so let's talk about this guy first. Once per turn, you can return any number of face-up cards you control to the owner's hand. For each card returned to the owner, this card gains... it's not really OP, because you have to set the cards, and you... oh, wait, you can... wait, no, you can't. Yeah, that's not very OP. I disagree with that one. So, next is this guy. When this is... yes, that's really OP, because people synchron summon this a lot. I've seen it in a ton of battles. I completely agree with that one. For limiting it. And this, if a synchron, this card must be a... that's not really OP, and I don't get why they would do that, because it's not very OP. But whatever. Allure of Darkness, then draw 2 cards and banish. Yeah, I agree with that one, because it could get pretty OP. Book of Moon, target 1 face-up monster. That, I see why it's limited, because it's not too OP. But, yeah. That one, you really should do that, because you could activate it with, like, a Cosmo deck and get card that you sent into the graveyard out. Yeah, that's pretty OP. Any card destroyed gets sent to the banished pile. I agree with that one completely. Once per turn, if a wind monster you control turns to the hand, except during you can special. Oh, it's a field spell. Yeah, I agree with that. If it wasn't a field, if it was just like a one-turn thing, I'd agree with it. A shadow. Oh. What? A shade. I guess El Shadow thing isn't here. Final countdown. After 20, counting the turn you first activated, you win the duel. I see why there's only one, because it's like an alternate win strategy. So you could win really easily. This, I see why, because you could use it for like a gimmick puppet. So I see why they did that. Gold, that's not really OP. You gotta wait for your second standby phase, but I see why they only have one. Infernity Launcher. You send one while you're from your hand to the graveyard while you have no cards in your hand. That's pretty OP, because if you have no cards, I can see why it would be that way. Limiter removal doubles the attack. Yes, that definitely needs to be limited, because it could be super OP. Mind control. It's not. That's pretty much just like clearing the field so you can attack. Monster Gate Tribute. Reveal cards from the top of your deck. No, you normal summon, special summon it, and send the all other. I see why it could be bad, but each player draws one card and neither player takes damage until the end of the opponent's next turn. Not very OP, but if you get a ton of those, it can be pretty OP. This can be good for Synchron, so I say yeah, limit it, because people could way overuse it. Preparation of Rites. Add one level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, then add one ritual spell. It's not very OP, but it could be if because some people would way overuse it, so it could be OP, but I kind of agree with it. Geki, yes, that needs to be limited, because you can activate that whenever and destroy all your opponent's monsters. Reinforcements of the army is not on here, but I know what it does. You add one warrior type monster to your hand from your deck. It's not really OP, but if you have a strategy, it could be OP. And I see why they limited it, because you could do pretty good. Special summon from your as possible with 200. There's a ton of fire monsters out there with 200 defense, so you could have like 5 in your deck and then just summon them all, and it'd be pretty OP. Now, Royal Tribute. If you control both players, discards any monsters. You could have a graveyard deck, and that wouldn't be that OP, but it can be. That I agree with. Now, Soul Charge. This I do agree with, because you could keep on summoning. If your deck makes you regain health a lot, it could help a lot. So I agree with that one. And then the last one, Symbol of... Oh, this one got unbanned. Well, unlimited, so you could use 3 of those now. So, and activate only when there are 3 monsters, same name in your graveyard. Select one of the monsters, special summon, and equip the card. This card destroy the equipped monster. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. Well, it's not that OP, but what are you gonna do? Bottomless Trap Hole. It's not that OP because there's other cards that can make you lose a ton of cards, but you really can't do anything about it. So, but it's not that bad, so compulsory. It'd be pretty stupid if you got like a maybe a blue eyes on the field, and then you had to send it back to your hand. I can see why they limited that. This card I don't really like. It's not OP, but it can like destroy 3 cards in your deck. So this is pretty much like the same. Oh, they are the same card. They're just different things. This I agree with. It's kind of like the same thing. Yeah. Special summon from your deck, increase their level by 1. You can only activate. That one sounds pretty OP, so if you have a certain thing, it could be pretty OP. When position in front and have no cards, negate that. You have to have no cards in your hand, which I agree with that card then. So, I agree with that. Now, oh, this card got unlimited. So you can have all 3 of those now. And I kind of don't agree with that. Because it could be way overused. But I really can't do anything. No. Macro. When. Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that thing. But I really can't do anything. I wish they banned it. It seems pretty OP, but activate only when you have no cards in your hand. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each spell card in your graveyard. It's pretty OP because you could have like your whole deck filled with spell cards and then just use that. Because there's a lot of cards that make you draw cards, so you could activate that and then activate that, and it could really do damage. Now, Ring of Destruction, not very OP, because there's other cards that do the full amount of damage, so I don't agree with that. Activate by effects of all are negated while those monsters are face up on the field. That's not very OP. So I kind of don't agree with it. Soul Mourning, yeah, that one's pretty, not very OP, but it's pretty good. So I agree with that. Monsters that are banished as well as monsters connect that start a chain. I agree with that. Now, Torrential Tribute. If you had a ton of those, that'd be stupid, because you could literally activate them. Now, Wall of Revealing Light. I'll just go backwards. Activate by paying any multiple of 1,000 life points. Monsters your opponent control cannot attack if their attack is less or than or equal to the amount you paid. It's pretty OP, because you could pay like 5,000 and your opponent can't attack or do anything unless they destroy that first. And Vanity's Emptiness. If this a card, because if you're a card from your hand or deck, if that's sent to the graveyard, you pretty much lose. So I disagree with that one. So I think they shouldn't limit it. But Atlantean. How do you spell that? Atlantean. There we go. Oh, it's with a limit of 2 this time. I don't really care about that one. I'm not a big fan of Atlanteans. Let's just do this monster. And then click that. Oh. Click that. Next up is Card Trooper. Once per turn, you choose a number. It's not very OP, but it can be. Because I use that for my Lightstorm deck. And I think I'll have to change it when they update the rule. Wait, no, they're not going to update the rules. Never mind. That one's been on the thing already. Must be special summon from your hand by banishing one. That's kind of like, Lackluster Envoy of the Beginning or something like that. But it's not as strong and it's not as OP. So I see why they did that. Honest, during your main phase, you can return this face-up card from your field to the hand during either player's. That one's not as OP as some of them, so I kind of don't agree with that, because it's not as OP. Now, Necroface. This guy right here, I think, yeah, he was taken off the list. So, he was semi-limited before, but now he's not. So, this shuffle I'll remove from card gains 100 attack for each of those cards. When this card is removed for play, both players remove and play the top. It can be pretty OP if you have some certain card, like certain things in your deck, but it could be pretty OP. Summoner Monk. Once per turn, you can discard one spell card, special summon one from your deck, but that monster can't attack. That's not as OP because this card, this card, the Summoner Monk, can get destroyed really easily, so don't really agree with that one. And the last one is when you take battle damage, you special summon this card from your hand. This card gains 600 attack and defense for each card in your hand. So it's kind of like Slave for the Sky Dragon. You send one monster from your hand to the graveyard to target one face with the same level as the sent monster. Take control of that target. Once per turn, you can target one monster in your graveyard. This card's level comes the same as that for until the end phase. So that's all the monsters. Here, let's just look at this. Chaos. This guy, he is unbanned. Well, you can have him 3 times in your deck, like all other cards. But now let's move on to spells. Advanced Ritual. This card. Wait, is there any spell cards at Spellbook of Fate? I did not talk about that. Oh yeah, that was 1. So, first card is Advanced Ritual. This card can be used to ritual summon any one ritual monster. You must also send no monsters from your deck to the graveyard whose total. It's not really OP, but it can be if you want to have like a ritual monster in your hand, but you don't want to wait till you get the ritual card too to summon it. So I agree with that. Activate only as chain link 2 or higher. Inflict 400 times the chain link number. Chain links are not hard to get, but they're hard to keep going. So it wouldn't be that strong. That's probably why they didn't ban it. This card could be really OP if you discard 3 cards and add 1. So it could be pretty OP. Dark Hole destroys all monsters. That's really OP, so I'm glad they limited it. Dragon Ravine. Once per turn, you discard, add 1, level 4, send 1 type of. You have to discard a card to activate it, so I agree with that one. And the last cards are 2 cards, and face down defense monster or an effect monster is on the field, change all face down defense position monsters on the field to face up defense position. Flip monsters effects are not activated at this time. Also inflict 500 damage to your. It's not really OP, but like signing a contract or like let's get this done. It's not really OP, but I agree with it. Special summon, they can in defense position. The token cannot be tributed. Destroy the controller of that token. Most people use this to give them to your opponent. Oh, they spawn them on your defense side. They usually just activate that to kill the creatures, but sometimes it can backfire. So, that's pretty much all. I actually don't really agree with that one. They're not very good. Well, agree with that because they're not very good. I really don't know anymore. But that was all my opinions on the banished and stuff. Because we're gonna probably do this every month, every 1 month or so, and I'll talk about each cards and tell you. Well, I'll talk about the new banished list that was different from them. But this one was pretty fun. It's almost 45 minutes long, but maybe you guys will stick around for the whole video. If you have, thanks a lot, guys, for your support. But hope you guys enjoyed, and this was really just my opinion on the ban list. If you guys did, leave a like and subscribe. And see you guys for this series next month. Peace out.